We mentioned off the top the biggest winner, Jordy Bahl of Nebraska, both the pitcher and player of the year. Again, that's the first time that's ever happened in the Big Ten. She's one of the most dominant pitchers in the country, in the top 10 nationally in ERA. And then, oh, by the way, she set a single-season school record for batting average in her first season as a full-time hitter at the college level. Our big interview today is Jordy Bahl. And Jordy, first of all, thanks for joining us on a game day. Congratulations again, first player ever to win player and pitcher of the year in the Big Ten. What do each of those accomplishments mean to you?
Honestly, that would not have been on my bingo card. The Big Ten has so many great pitchers and so many great players, and it's an honor to win both. But I would say at the same time, especially with this week in mind, the main thing has always been the team awards, such as winning the Big Ten tournament, shooting for conference champs, and then above and beyond making it to the World Series and winning there. So my teammates have always been my motivation. My family and my support system has always been there for me. And so the personal awards, they come along the way, but I'm grateful for those. But what has always motivated me has been the team championships.
Well, let's unpack some of that, the team stuff, the family stuff. Let's start with the team. You transferred home to Nebraska after spending 2 incredibly successful years at Oklahoma. You guys won 2 national championships. You were the most outstanding player of one of those Women's College World Series. So what has it meant to do this, to have this kind of year at your home state school and playing with some of the women that you grew up playing with as a kid?
That just makes it so sweet when girls that you grew up dreaming these big dreams with, now you get to carry them out and walk the walk with them. That has just made it so full circle and so sweet. And it has honestly made the game so much fun and made it even easy at times, because I know I said this earlier in the season, but when you're out there with the girls that you grew up playing with, it really just feels like Sandlot. And so that in itself just takes a lot of pressure off and helps you enjoy every day a little more.
I know your dad is really important to you. You mentioned your entire family, your brothers as well, but your dad was kind of a coach of yours growing up, a former college football player, a firefighter now. I know you're wearing number 98 as a tribute to him. Tell me about the role that he has played in your development and what it means, again, to be back close to home and to have him be able to witness every game.
Yeah, well, my dad, he was my bullpen catcher for the longest time, pretty much until I could start driving. And then even at that point, when the catcher who was my age could drive, he would still catch me sometimes. So when I said I wanted to start pitching when I was 7 years old, and my pitching coach was like, this is going to take a lot of hard work. You're going to have a schedule that you follow. You're going to have to throw every other day. My dad was game on right with me, because a pitcher is only going to be as determined and successful as her catcher is also willing to be, and that was my catcher. So whenever I needed to get some work in, my dad was right there to be there for me. And so just to be back home and have my family at all these games has been incredible, because they are so much to thank for the career that I've had and the way that they've supported me. So I love that they can have a front row seat and get to watch me and this team play.
So you mentioned your dad is an influence, and I suppose that partly would be expected. The influence I did not expect that I read about was Michael Jordan. In what ways does Michael Jordan inspire you as a softball player?
I think he just inspires every athlete. One of my favorite documentaries is The Last Dance. And so I would say, just as an athlete in general, not even just in softball, but in every sport, every athlete wants to have his mindset and in any way replicate him just mentally. So that's obviously really hard to do. He's the best of the best, but it's definitely a good goal to shoot for mentally, because I don't know another athlete that is more rock solid up there.
Well, as someone who lived in Chicago during the Bulls championship runs, I would echo that sentiment. It is incredible to watch. You have been amazing, too, and particularly amazing given what you had to overcome. And for those who don't know, you actually transferred back to Nebraska last year, and in the season opener, you suffered a knee injury that put you on the shelf for the remainder of the campaign. Was there ever a time where you wondered whether you'd get back and be the player that you had been previously?
Yeah, I would say that there were moments, but those moments were very short-lived because I tried to make that something that I didn't even worry about. Truthfully, it was just taking it one day at a time, and my faith got me through a lot of those moments because with faith in Jesus Christ, you can surrender whatever the results are because you're not tied down by the chains of results and expectations. So that was something that I really focused on. But again, my teammates and my family helped me take it one day at a time. They were right there with me every step of the way. And so again, that's why this pitcher and player of the year award, it's thanks to all of them.
I think what's really amazing, too, is we mentioned what a great player you were at Oklahoma, and then you suffer the injury. What was crazy to me is in your entire time at Oklahoma, you had 40 at-bats total in 2 years. So not only did you come back from this injury, but it's the two-way nature of this that I find so incredible. You were a dominant pitcher there. You've remained a dominant pitcher at Nebraska, but added in, as I said, I mean, breaking the single season record or on pace to do it for batting average. At what point did you realize, what was the conversation where you said, hey, I want to do this. I want to pitch, but I also want to be a full-time hitter when I'm not pitching?
Well, I would say even in my years at Oklahoma, I still was in batting practice all the time, and I got to learn from some of the game's absolute best hitters and probably arguably one of the best hitting coaches in the country. So I was still learning and I was still hitting, and then I came home and I get to work with Coach Miller, who's absolutely incredible, and other amazing hitters. So I think it's just been, even though this is my fourth year of college, third year playing college softball, just ever since I was a freshman, soaking up all the great hitters and great learning that was around me.
Let's talk about the showdown with UCLA. That is later today in the semifinals. You guys played them earlier this year. They beat you pretty handily, although you were not in the circle for that game. Give us the scouting report on the Bruins.
Obviously they're a great team. They're a great lineup. They're a program with a lot of tradition. They take a lot of pride in the game that they put out there on the field. And I would say, like, even that game earlier in the year, it was a very close game up until the last couple innings. So our team, I think we're ready. We're excited to get back with them and have another matchup.
I don't want to force you to look too far ahead, but you've mentioned this a couple times. Nebraska hasn't been to the World Series, the Women's College World Series, in a dozen years. What would it mean for this group to make it this season?
It would make a lot of girls' dreams come true. And I think that we have the tools to do it. But again, you just got to take it one day at a time and have one-game seasons.
Okay, the next one-game season is today against UCLA. Jordy Bahl, best of luck. Congratulations again. It's been such a pleasure to watch you this year. Thrilled to have you in the Big Ten and thrilled to have you on our show today. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.